Welcome to another episode of Raw Dogs, everybody. We're part of the Greenlit Podcast Network, part of Hair the Dogcast, and we are your two favorite people you can listen to on your smartphone devices. Dylan, what's your name?
My name's Dylan, as it turns out, actually.
I am still Brad, and we have two very special guests today.
We have guests who aren't just Tom.
We hate Tom. Just kidding, Tom. Wish you were here.
I'm Justin. My gamer tag is Riot, for what it's worth. I am an active member in the Smash Bros. Community.
Of Milwaukee specifically?
Yes.
So I see this beautiful logo on your hat here.
That's the Facebook group that I admin. It's a fairly small Smash Bros. Centered Facebook group, but it's really personal. Like everyone in it I've met. I invite to each event that I host. I don't know. It's fun. We're all good friends. Yeah.
And that's Super Smash Brotherhood Milwaukee?
Yes.
And they can find you on Facebook?
Yeah, Super Smash Brotherhood MKE is what the group is called.
How often do you guys get together?
Well, it depends on an official, I guess, group meet would be maybe once every other month so far. So it's been pretty sparse because everyone's kind of busy. And there are a lot of other local tournaments that I have to try to work around, So
sure.
You don't want to take up someone else's day or time. Once a month, once every other month.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been meeting at Binary Food, Games, and Spirits. So they've been allowing us to host tournaments there, which is really awesome.
Where is Binary Food? Food, Games, and Spirits? Is that what you said?
It is on 84th and Lincoln in West Allis.
I've only heard good things about it.
I'd love to make it out to one of those things. Unfortunately, everyone is free on the weekends except service industry folks.
That's absolutely true.
Which Dylan and I are both involved in.
We also have someone else who's new, Alex.
Hi, my name is Alex.
And Alex, you're a part of the Super Smash Brothers community in Milwaukee.
Yes. I met Justin because he was my neighbor of all things.
Oh,
and
wow.
He came over holding a Smash Brothers cartridge and saying, please play with me.
You want to play Nintendo? Not far off from that. I came home from work and he was in my apartment talking to my old roommate. He said, I heard you guys play Smash. I challenge you. And I was like,
throw the glove down.
Let's go.
On
Who
the
won?
table.
And that day, I think he beat me more times than I beat him.
Okay.
And it's been pretty back and forth ever since then.
Back in the day, people would challenge each other to chess to just see kind of what levels they were at. Today, you play Smash Brothers.
Sell it and Smash.
Yep.
I talk a big game with Smash. You find out very quickly where you stand with someone. You only have to play maybe 30 seconds to a minute before you realize I'm going to kick their ass or I'm done.
I can do the basics like wave dashing, but some of that stuff I can.
Wave dashing is not basics, Dylan.
It feels like it.
That's only melee, I believe.
That's not really a big ultimate or any other thing.
Well, I remember from back in the day, like going over to people's houses, the term was just being like coined.
Yeah, that's like the first tech that everyone learned in Melee.
Well, yes, so the topic of our episode today, we're talking about the Smash Brothers franchise. They recently just had the last DLC announcement.
Yes.
Which Dylan is very excited about.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm excited. I'm just interested.
We were halfway through the trailer and you said you have a new main, possibly.
I probably do. I think Byleth is a really cool character. Fire Emblem Three Houses was my game of the year for 2019.
I bought it. I just didn't get the chance to play it.
And Byleth is interesting. They brought in a bit of the lore, as what I can tell. I'm intrigued by that.
I see that he's not just a sword fighter, that they're giving him other weapons.
The Heroes Relics, yeah.
The Heroes Relics, which that's great, not to have another sword fighter.
Well, I mean, in the game, it's so broad that you can specialize in whatever you want as long as you train yourself up in it. You don't have to be sword guy anymore.
I also liked Cuphead as the costume. Because it just looks exactly like Cuphead.
He should have been the DLC character.
Because it was released on the Switch. It might as well.
That guy was pushing. The developer wanted that to happen.
It's literally the perfect choice.
I'm still holding out that despite Waluigi being an assist trophy, I think he's going to be the last DLC character because they did announce they're doing another whole batch of DLC.
I don't know, man. Maybe they'll do like a blooper from Mario instead of that.
They'll do Piranha Plant. They'll do Captain Toad who literally can't jump.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would make an interesting fighter. Maybe he's like the most powerful, but he can't jump.
You knock him off just at 0%. It's like, no!
Yeah, heaviest character in the game.
Heaviest character, Captain Toad. He got too much in his backpack.
Yeah, I knew he was.
I'm not sure if it was today or yesterday, but I read the rumor from one of the Smash leakers about who the first DLC character is going to be.
Oh.
And this person's gotten most things right before. Have you guys heard who it is?
No, I'm interested.
No.
Crash Bandicoot.
That would be a good
cool.
choice.
Which I think is a great
That'd
choice.
be a PlayStation
Yeah, but
Well,
they have
the
all those
Insane
games on
trilogy.
Switch now.
It's-
Same with Spyro. I could see Spyro making it eventually, but
Yeah.
Charizard.
all
too.
that stuff is like making its way over to Switch, which is awesome. Same with like Master Chief, possibly.
I would like to see Master Chief. I think it's less likely, but the fact
Yeah.
that Cloud made it in there, I think all
You just
bets are
never
a little
know
off.
anymore.
I wouldn't be
Yeah, you
surprised
just
to
never know.
see the Master Chief collection get on Switch. Not what
Handheld
you would think.
shooter.
It feels good.
Yeah.
it
This,
does.
this guy prefers to use not the Wiimotes, the
Joy-Cons?
Joy-Con.
the Joy-Cons versus the controller.
Now, I was also when
I know, right?
He's one of those
You play
guys.
motion control Mario Kart, don't you?
in Brawl, I would use the nunchuck and the remote, and I got very good at that.
That's
Really?
not,
But how did
that's
you
doable,
grab?
though, in my opinion.
Because you can map everything. It doesn't matter if you have a preference, you can do it.
As long as you have the nunchuck, you still have the analog stick.
Yeah,
which
the
is
analog
most
stick is still
important
there.
thing.
Yeah.
Key.
So for the very few oddities, the weirdos that have never played a Smash Brothers game, what makes Smash Brothers different as a fighting game compared to other fighting games?
I'll start off by saying I would describe this as a very specific character action brawler. It's more focused on simplicity, easy to get into, hard to master. And I think that was their ethos from the beginning, because I think with all Nintendo products, that's their goal.
It is meant to kind of be more approachable because it's about staying on a stage.
Yep.
You're not depleting someone's hit points down there. That's, I think, is the biggest difference between, say, a Street Fighter or a Mortal Kombat or anything.
And I think that makes it interesting, maybe not just as a fighting game, but as a party game.
A lot of other fighting games were characters that were only in that game.
Exactly.
And now,
Yep.
then Smash Bros. Came out. It was like, oh, I can be any of these characters, and we can all play. At the time, 4 people, more recently 8 people, which is pretty insane. That, and every character, I think, feels more unique from the others as opposed to a game like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Soul Calibur, where I feel like if you kind of learn one, it's not that hard to learn the rest, maybe.
Well, and it's like you're saying, I think it has less to do with like button combinations. Everyone has the same.
B is always
Choices.
special
Yep.
attacks.
Yep.
A in a direction will be your smash attacks. Everyone's got different things that happen, but it's the same basic concept for every character. And it's not about memorizing combos, which is nice. Whereas if you're going to be playing someone in, a Dragon Ball Z fighting game or whatever they're wanting to play as, it's if they have their combos memorized,
Like down over.
Right.
A,
Whoever
B.
gets the first hit pretty much wins the match.
they're juggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I will say I have been to Smash tournaments before. You know when you're playing as a god tier person. He said,
Oh, yeah.
we'll have fun. We'll just play a little bit.
Yeah.
The dude's kicking my ass. He knocks me off the stage, jumps off, hits me back onto the stage, and gets back himself. Just, god
Just
tier
to mess
status.
with you.
You're not ready to die yet.
You'll die when I say you can die, Roy. And yeah, I mean, and it's fun and it's approachable. It's all these Nintendo characters. So if
Great
you're
marketing. I'd say for Nintendo, it's great marketing because that's how I got to play as my short character. Is I saw a cool character and then I picked him up, liked him, and then played his game. So
Yeah.
good
You
marketing.
have Shulk's accent.
Yeah, I'm really feeling
Yes,
it.
yes,
Yeah.
dude. Yes,
and he's
I was
wearing
gonna
Shulk's
say.
full outfit right now. If you can't
Wow.
see it,
He
Yes.
looks just like him.
Doesn't Shulk have a pair of swim trunks outfit? One of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
That's the flex outfit.
That is when when you're going to whoop ass, you put that one on.
You don't mess with the guy who's naked that you're trying to fight, right?
Yeah.
have you played the Xenoblade Chronicle games because of this?
So because of that, I bought the game on the 3DS.
Oh, yeah,
I missed
great
it on
port.
the week. Good port, real
Very
good.
good port.
Coming to the Switch soon. So
Yeah,
gonna be really
remaster,
good.
very cool.
I beat 110 hours. It took me to beat that game.
110 hours. That's a game right there.
Grind, man.
That game is like an MMO, but for single players.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think another thing that separates Smash from a lot of other fighting games is the use of items, and each of those items do a very specific thing in battle.
Yeah, I can't think of another fighting game that really utilizes items to that capacity.
Nope.
Yeah, some of the items are just excellent. Just straight cheese. Like, I think one's from Zelda, and it blows you off the map. And there's just nothing you
Yeah.
can do.
Like the big stone swords.
No, that's from
that,
Zelda.
that one's cool. That can the sword
the
that
tornado
fires
sword,
tornadoes
yeah.
at people.
It's like this one. It's
Oh, that
like,
one's
it's
fun.
like it just
Oh,
blows
the gust. Yeah, I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
basically just a bag of wind.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's from Skyward Sword.
There we go.
The least liked one. Of
Or
course you wouldn't know.
the beetle that just carries you to death.
Yes,
Yeah.
very
Oh my
funny.
God.
And I think something that the Smash series has become more and more with each iteration is it's just such a love letter to video games in general. And I'm so happy that it got out of just first party games. Because you're
sure.
on Smash Ultimate, I can go in there and listen to Final Fantasy VII music and Castlevania music. Yep. There's trophies from
It's
Neo
like over
Geo.
800 tracks on that game.
Oh,
right?
yeah. And it's all
so
like amazing remixes of orchestrated tracks.
Absolutely.
So, what are your first experiences with Smash Brothers? What do you recall from back then, Justin?
I remember playing with 3 of my cousins. We would play on N64, and I was almost always Kirby or Captain Falcon. And then there was one that was always Samus, one that was always Fox, and one that was always Pikachu. And we were all like equally annoyingly good at the game for 8-year-olds or whatever we were at the time.
Evenly matched.
Yeah. That was the most fun I think I ever had in a competitive like brawl fighting type of game. I played a lot of Mortal Kombat as a kid, and I always liked it, but this one felt so much more involved.
There's as far as 4-player fighting games go, because there's Power Stone for the Dreamcast, which I kind of remember, but you felt comfortable with 4 players on screen doing stuff.
Yeah.
And that just makes it so much fun for everybody. There's not just 2 people and you're sitting out watching.
Yeah. I mean, even like Tekken Tag tried to do something with, and it was fun, but it was a one-on-one game. Yeah, it felt so different because the mobility of the game, the way every character can move around and throughout the stages, the way the stage hazards worked and the maps, in any other fighting game, it is a flat stage, maybe with some walls and a pretty background, and that's every stage.
Yeah.
And some cool music. Maybe one game has like some weird stage hazards. I think Injustice incorporated like some buttons you could press in the Batcave or something like that. But
or Mortal Kombat, a chokeslam through to another level, but you're just dropping down to a flat
it's the
thing.
same thing.
Yeah.
It was an instant love, which I think most people kind of have the same sort of feel to it.
It almost becomes its own little like platforming game. The economy of the screen and the level design is a lot more intricate. Like, especially when you have hazards and stuff like that, it's just one extra thing to pay attention to, which adds to the oeuvre of the whole thing.
You pretentious fuck.
Yes, I'm going full Frasier this episode, guys. No, it's
full Frasier. I want to see that on a t-shirt.
Well, I mean, even when you think back to Melee and they had those like adventure modes, it could have almost functioned as its own like platform.
It was
game.
garbage though. It was a garbage adventure mode. It looked great, but those characters are not meant for platforming. They're meant for fighting. And you're like jumping through Mario stages. It always felt a little wonky.
I'm sorry, I miss the target breaking. I miss all of that stuff.
Break the target. Those levels were each designed for those characters. That's why it was so much fun.
That was cool.
Yeah,
that was way
fun.
better than the current model
I
of the same level for every character.
Yeah.
But
I would have loved a new Break the Target.
They brought back Home Run Smash into Ultimate because that wasn't there initially.
No, that was added when they added the Stage Maker.
Oh.
Which was not initially in Ultimate either.
Right.
Because I hadn't played Ultimate in a while, and I booted it up yesterday, and I said, Home Run Smash, shit.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure if it was new, and then I saw that I didn't have a high score at all, so I thought that was pretty fun. I remember Yoshi was the best in Melee. My first experience with the series was Melee, or Melee, however you guys want to say it.
Tomato.
Brad's from nowhere.
I'm from South Dakota, so yes, I am from nowhere. I fell into that game very hard. I remember getting every single trophy for that game, beating all the event matches. I was obsessed.
I missed that part. The amiibo-looking trophies.
The coin machine, I was obsessed with earning coins for that.
You always like gamble. You're like, I think 60% is a good enough thing, and you just get a duplicate of
You just got another red
garbage. Yeah, another red fucking Pikmin. And I've mained as Roy as often as I can. I had to switch over to Ike for a while, which sucks because his up B is also a down attack, which has fucked me more than once. What was your first experience? Was it 64?
It was 64, way back when. I remember my downstairs neighbor, we both had the N64s. I bought Mario Kart, he bought Smash, and he came up with it. Over the summer break, we would play that game for hours. Hours.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. It was good because we also had Lilac Wars as well, which I think you just called Star Fox. Yeah. Playing on like the Corneria stage on the ship was really cool because every stage is like a stage from a different game. Great marketing again, you know? So just good memories playing with items when we were really bad at the game.
How many people knew of Captain Falcon before?
F-Zero.
Yeah,
I mean, I had F-Zero, so it was awesome. So.
Yeah.
Well, what was your first experience with Smash?
Playing it at a cousin's house and just the concept of it alone getting me obsessed. there was something that would draw me to characters. I still am design oriented. So if I see a character that looks cool, I just remember being really obsessed. I loved Kirby games. Pokemon obviously was my bread and butter, as anyone who listens to this podcast knows.
So
I'm allowed to talk about it.
There's one person that is synonymous with Smash Brothers, the creator, the developer, Masahiro Sakurai. How familiar are you guys with Sakurai?
He's the godfather.
Yeah.
Alex, tell me what you know about this man.
We wouldn't have Smash as we know without him. And we should be very thankful and grateful for all the efforts that he has put into this game that we have right now.
I think he might be confirmed vampire because
he doesn't sleep.
He doesn't sleep. He works himself to the bone every game, and he looks younger than I do. And he's like 20 years older.
Wow. God.
Maybe the divine Galeem and Darkhan have just like blessed him with long life to keep making
aging at 25.
He stopped aging. Sakurai also created Kirby, which is probably why there's a lot of Kirby love in these games, which is great.
Well, the games actually play a lot like a Kirby game. Have you guys ever played a Kirby game?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So one of the things that makes Sakurai so great in terms of game design is that his character's movements, just by doing subtle different button presses, you can achieve different things. I think he originated the double tap on the D-pad to run.
Oh, really?
I think he also originated like when running, an attack will do a certain thing rather than if you're moving slowly. But I think a lot of games are very simple. You move to the side and the one button does one thing, the other button does another thing. But when you use the economy of the controller properly, you can achieve a lot more. And I think that's what's really interesting about this as a fighting game.
Let's just have a game that's kind of approachable for everyone. Elite players can play Elite, but it's also quite approachable. Even with items, there's a level of balance to it, which Nintendo games have. Mario Kart, you can be the best player in the world, and you can get spanked so hard by the blue
randomness of absolutely.
I've seen it before. First place to 8th place, where I did nothing wrong.
Rubber banded all the way to victory.
Which is cool, which is a good concept. But the game was initially pitched as Dragon King: The Fighting Game. Great.
Well, I mean, it was
great title.
It was a fun demo that
they should still make that game.
But he was buddies with Satoru Iwata from his time at HAL Laboratories. God, what a great man. And they were the ones who kind of got Nintendo to allow them to use Nintendo characters because they initially were told no. And they went and just kind of put them in there anyways. And then they saw it and they're like, okay.
Well, apparently Miyamoto was like, no, you can't do this. And Iwata's like,
Mario cannot beat the shit out of Link. This is not what we're about.
He's just like, let's have Pikachu and Mario fight for a second. And let's just do like a one-on-one kind of demo thing, just a proof of concept. And then they went to Miyamoto, and Miyamoto's like, oh, they're not like goring each other.
In Miyamoto's head, it's just like Scorpion level fatalities. Mario's dick getting zapped off by Pikachu. Do you guys remember the commercial for Smash 64?
Yes.
I think so. It was
Imagine me and you. And you and me.
It's got the mascot characters like walking in a field to that Turtle song "So Happy Together."
Yep.
Such great marketing. They start beating the crap out of each other.
Transitions to just carnage.
I'm not gonna lie. That was also a reason I really wanted the game. That was the perfect.
This looks like
promotion.
The most fun commercial ever.
I love that they're wearing mascot uniforms and they just start beating the shit out of each other. Yeah, Smash 64 came out April 26th, 1999. Featured 12 characters, with 4 of them being unlockable in 9 different stages. Featured 4-player versus mode, items, few extra modes that break the targets, and board the platforms, which I've never played. I think I'm the only one then who hasn't played Smash 64 at all. I'd like to play it. I imagine it probably holds up pretty well.
We'd have to buy new controllers because my analog stick, it flops.
I want to
from Mario Party.
Yeah.
Is there anything about Smash 64 that you think is super unique to the franchise?
It was the foundation, the building blocks to what we have now. So that makes it special in itself. Without that, we wouldn't be where we are now. Plus 64-bit graphics. That was very special at the time.
Yeah.
Like, you weren't complaining about the graphics back then. It was just amazing seeing Shot charging up with Samus and stuff.
Make no mistake, those characters looked good.
Okay, so the story from Smash 64, the opening cinematic, it's a kid in a kid's room. He grabs a plush toy out of his toy box and sets it on a desk, and he arranges the background to look like a battlefield, which transforms into one of the battlefields then. So there is like the meta story that Smash Brothers is a kid playing with his toys out of a toy box, and the master hand, I guess the toy starts fighting yourself, fighting your hand, the creation. I don't know if they're pissed at you
The
or
Overlord.
I mean, at some point, my toys probably fought my hand too. Smash 64 laid the groundwork. They wanted to get a few more characters in, but they didn't have the time to do it. And I think he wanted to get Marth in that game, but he was worried about another sword character going up against Link. They didn't want to.
Oh, they're not worried anymore.
Turns out they ditched that.
It's funny that he was concerned about that.
That's fun.
Next is Super Smash Bros. Melee. November 21st, 2001. Sold more than 7 million copies. It's the best-selling game on the GameCube.
Wow.
Shocker.
Not surprising.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Smash 64 was the 5th best-selling game.
But when you think about that,
Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, you had Ocarina of Time, you had Mario Kart,
64,
Mario Party, you had the Kirby Crystal Shards, you had a lot of stuff to compete with. And on the GameCube, it seemed like Smash was the only game that did better than its predecessor.
Everything else was so experimental for a lot of series.
You know, it's a shame with Mario Sunshine, which I didn't.
that game ruled.
I
game
love
was amazing.
Sunshine
It's
so
one of my
much.
favorites.
So good.
Yeah.
Bring
I
it
think-
back to the Switch.
I think it got a bad rap though. I don't know if people liked Flood after having Mario 64. I thought Flood was cool. And
Flood was a great mechanic. It was a perfect
great in
evolution.
Smash, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Getting people right off that ledge.
and Wind Waker, people were pissed, although it's beautiful.
one of
We
the
all
best
agree
Zelda
it's
games.
great, I think.
It's a game you look back on and you're like, it wasn't a bad game. It's not.
Well, it's my favorite
It's
Zelda.
different.
Why is it realistic? Why isn't it realistic? I'm not a kid anymore.
Which, when you play like A Link to the Past, if you imagined that as being an actual like 3D game, it would have looked like Wind Waker. Sorry, tangent.
Did you guys get into collecting the trophies as much as I did?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I 100%.
That was like my favorite thing to do, probably.
Yeah.
This was years ago, but I do feel like I had a very good collection of trophies.
The event matches, I thought, were something that you'd see even more later down the line, even with like the Spirit board. But the event matches where you can set up little stories or vignettes between certain characters that kind of reference parts of their games from the past. 51 different event matches. You have to beat all 50 to unlock the 51st one. What was the 51st? You have to fight like Giga Bowser, Mewtwo.
Oh, man.
And someone else.
I think I couldn't get the last one.
I eventually learned to rest with Jigglypuff for 2 hours in a row until it just finally hit all of them and knocked them off. Because rest is that weird move where you just hit down B, and if you're close enough, it just
You have
knocks
to
them
be
off.
basically touching.
That
and yeah,
sweet
it's like
spot.
I still don't understand that mechanic. So let's go back to Melee. Who did we all main there? Do we have different mains or do we
Mario.
Mario?
Yeah, which probably when I look back now, I would have got destroyed in tournament play, but Mario was the guy. He was awesome.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mario's always been a solid.
Yeah.
Mario and
all
Pikachu
round.
have always been
Well,
like
he's supposed to be the character that immediately you can be like, well, I don't know any of these guys.
he's
Here's
neutral.
Mario. Everyone knows Mario.
Yeah.
I do love Luigi's side move where he just shoots himself like a rocket.
Yeah.
I have one
can
buddy
aim
who
it.
It's a misfire.
I have a buddy who is so good with that thing. You can't knock him off, and he'll just shoot from the edge of the map to the other side of the map somehow with that move. It's amazing. I mained as Roy. Roy's my boy. I didn't have to step away from my boy too often, and not baby Bowser Roy, the proper Roy. Dylan, who were you playing as back in Melee? Ness.
Ever since 64.
I feel like I don't understand how Ness plays enough with all of his like that PK move that like he throws it back on the stage.
The PK Thunder is really great. If you know how to recover with it, you can do really well. The PK Fire, when you can trap people in there and then set up the proper smash, it's so satisfying. The PK PK Flash, that one is so hit or miss. I barely even use it. The barrier works very well if you're facing like Fox, because they get off those quick blaster fire shots.
As far as competitive play goes, I want to say Fox, Falco, and like Jigglypuff are the main.
And Marth.
And Marth. Those are the tier ones.
Yeah.
Well, Marth-
Sheik was up there too. If you look at like the top tier players, it's almost always Fox. There's a good amount of Captain Falcon too.
There's some puffs for a while. Puff mains with
There's
like
like
Mango and Hungry Box were rocking that for a while.
But then Mango got away and started using Falco. But Hungry Box has been Puff through and through. And
Solid.
They really nerfed those characters in this gen, though. If we can start calling them gens
In
almost
Ultimate?
at this point, yeah. I feel like they nerfed
Fox is
quite a
still
bit.
he's different, but he's still a top tier.
Yeah, I would
Jigglypuff
imagine.
is not quite there.
I
think it has a lot to do with the amount of new characters and new
there's
things to
so
work
much,
around
yeah.
that Jigglypuff just doesn't have the tools to deal with it anymore.
That's true.
I think that's part of it.
Plus, we still don't have all the characters, so for what we have, they're still working on the meta of the game because a new character comes, and now the internet's a thing, so they balance
changes it.
So
I do think that this one feels more balanced than any of the other ones that I've played.
Mm-hmm.
That like the worst
Definitely.
characters don't feel as bad as the worst characters in previous games.
But we can all agree Mr. Game & Watch is a garbage character.
I like Mr.
I love him.
Watch.
He's not competitive.
Glass cannon.
Whenever I play as him, I go to the other side of the
In
stage and flip sausages as much as I can just to fuck with people.
In Ultimate?
I don't try and win. If I can flip sausages,
I like
fine.
the Judge Hammer.
Yeah.
Are you talking Ultimate?
2. I'm just talking about Melee.
Oh, okay. Melee, yeah, sure. I was gonna say there's a top 10 PGR player that's Mr. Game
Do you
& Watch.
remember
Oh, I
what you
wanna
guys had
see
to
that.
do to unlock Game & Watch on that game?
Is he the last one you unlocked?
he was the,
No, I thought Mewtwo was because you had to play for like 50 hours.
Yeah.
No,
was
but-
it only 50? I thought it was even more.
I thought it was more
It's
than that. All
20
you had to
hours.
do,
You have to
like-
play 20 hours of versus mode to unlock Mewtwo or like a certain number of matches.
Yeah.
I
I
didn't have
remember
friends,
that.
so it took me a lot longer.
I remember
or you-
leaving my GameCube on and going to school that day.
That's what
and
you
came,
do.
Yeah, came back and then
Yeah, you just like let the
died.
match sit.
Died 50
New
times, run
challenger.
off the stage 50 times.
And then he sucked anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, float right off the screen.
But I think
Thank you.
Game & Watch was the last one you unlocked because you had to unlock all the other ones before you could get to him.
No, I got Game & Watch very early. I remember.
I don't think you're right.
I'm actually just I'm gonna do that. You guys keep talking. I'm
Well,
gonna
okay,
fact
while
check
you're
them.
checking, Justin, who did you main as in Melee?
I didn't really get into the competitive scene, and I didn't realize he was such a top tier character. But I always played as Fox or Roy because
Yeah.
I thought Roy looked cooler than Marth.
Yeah,
So
for
and I
sure.
know he was slower, but he hit so much harder, and I just liked him more.
If you hit with that neutral B, it was lights out.
Yeah.
man.
People are so dumb. I'll be standing there charging up my B
For
move
like 8 seconds.
and people are
wanna
like,
challenge
I'm going to
that.
go in.
I'll get him now. He's not moving.
Who would have thought this was going to happen, right?
Yep.
Yeah, then they had story mode, which we briefly touched on. You go through Mario, you do the side scroll thing.
Not a selling point.
Not a selling point.
I think like what he said is a platformer thing. There would be part of it that would be kind of, I thought like it'd be kind of cool to play with all these characters in a platformer and just like destroy, like 500 guys in some level. Kind of almost like the Prism Fighters. What were they called?
Fighting Polygon team.
Yeah, the Polygon team. Which
Are we-
was
are we
kind of how it was, but it was like a very watered down platformer game.
Some of the characters is floaty, and I feel like the hitboxes for the Goombas or whatever, they
Yeah.
didn't feel spot on.
What if we put Samus in Mario? Pretty much what it
And
was.
fuck the Ice Climber stage.
Yeah, that's like the only stage actually that didn't make it into Ultimate and Poke Floats.
Weird.
I think.
about it. Yeah.
Well,
I'm okay with that though.
Poke Floats made it into Detective Pikachu, though, so that's good.
It did.
Crazy Hand was introduced in story mode. The story that's going on in the background of these games is odd. The villains he decides to introduce, it starts off with Master Hand, which you get. So the story that's going on in the background of Melee. You don't get tons of it from the beginning, but you know that instead of plush toys, you're now using trophies, which later will turn into amiibos. But when you look at your trophy room in the background, you're not in this kid's room anymore. It's kind of like a classier, like older teenager, maybe a young adult. He's got all the game systems lined up. This dude owns a Virtual Boy. He's a collector at this
About
point.
that life.
So that's going on in the background. But Crazy Hand is introduced as if you're playing in a certain level of difficulty, Crazy Hand shows up as well. And the trophy describes Crazy Hand as being consumed with that hollow feeling for destroying your own creations.
Wow.
Okay, that's some dark stuff there. I mean, talk to your therapist here for a
Smash
second,
Bros.
Sakurai.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, have you ever really paid attention to a Kirby story? I know you guys really haven't played many Kirby games, but it gets Lovecraftian. It gets pretty nuts.
Explain how Kirby gets Lovecraftian.
So a lot of how it breaks down is that the villains that you face are just like these pits of never-ending darkness. There are wizards who like betray you, and Kirby is essentially he is a beast with unlimited potential that can destroy the universe but chooses not to.
I love that so much.
He's literally described as he can suck up everything if he truly wanted to. There will be a Kirby lore episode because I think that would be very interesting.
So you were looking up what?
Yes. So, to unlock Mr. Game & Watch, clear Target Test Classic or Adventure Mode with all 24 characters. So you either have to do one of those.
Okay.
So if you did all of Clear Target and you just passed, then
But to complete all a clear target, you have to have all the characters, right?
Yeah, I guess.
I just want to hear that Brad was right.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Something that I think we also have to mention with Melee, because I know you two are both very familiar, because you're name dropping Mango and Hungrybox and all these people. Dylan, maybe you might not be as much, but
no.
I'm guessing you've seen the YouTube documentary.
With like Mewtwo King, that one?
The one that's got, it's like
the Smash Brothers.
The Smash Brothers, that like 7 or 8 part series where it just describes the competitive scene and how it blew up.
Yeah, how it turned into what it is.
Melee still played competitively, correct?
Yeah, that's
I think it recently just got dropped from Evo though. Last year was the first Evo in a long time. I
thought it was just that it wasn't the main stage game. That Ultimate was
got dropped for something. I think they didn't need 2 Smash games, so they dropped.
I mean, it's in and out. It's still definitely the second most popular competitive Smash next to Ultimate at this time, but.
You're saying 3DS isn't one of the main competitors?
Well, I think it's because, first of all, Melee is a much faster game. It's so involved and intense. I can see why people still want to play it. But I don't know about you guys, but whenever I buy a game and I'm still involved in the competitive scene, I just kind of want to play the new thing.
Yeah.
It feels like I just want to be on the cutting edge and I want to figure that out.
Yeah, you want to be ahead of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime I would get into a Call of Duty game late, I'm like, well, I don't know any of the maps now, and everyone else does, and I'm terrible now.
They've all bought 24 packs of Mountain Dew to get extra experience, too.
So they're prestige level 3 on the second day.
I saw Gears of War on a Pringles can today, and I was so pissed. It says, get experience boost. I'm like, you can all fuck off.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's such a cop-out. It's one of my favorite franchises. That's sad.
But you can get experience points by buying Pringles in the real world.
Playing a game.
It's better than loot boxes, but it's still fucking shitty.
I did that for Titanfall 2. Never mind. One of the other things I can say about Melee especially is that this was made before an era where games were patched. So all the weird little minuscule bugs, it's almost like it's an insider club. If you can't figure out how certain bugs work in that game or certain glitches, you can't really game the system and you can't be a good player. So the barrier to entry is already extremely large. Whereas with Ultimate, it's getting patched all the time.
Which keeps it interesting. That's why in Melee, once it really got itself established in the competitive scene, the top 5 or 6 players never changed.
Yeah.
And now in Ultimate, there's still like the best players that keep up with it, but there's more room for people to work their way to the top.
I love in that documentary where everyone just mating as, their foxes or whatever, and then someone shows up with a puff mate, and they're like, where the fuck's this guy?
Yeah.
Or that was what Armada did with Peach too. Like people were like, nobody can win with this character, and she's not fast enough.
And then she butt checked everyone to death.
Before we get too much into Brawl, I just want to bring up that crazy hand, master hand thing. Master hand is that hand that was playing with all the creating the characters for play and imagination. And Melee, he introduces the crazy hand, whose desire is to destroy your own creations. I think this is the beginning of Sakurai already getting really pissed about having to devote his life to one franchise.
Or maybe it's a metaphor for puberty.
Just smashing away here. I grabbed another beer.
What'd you grab there?
It looks like most of us are drinking some of that delicious Lakefront 12-pack that you brought here.
Yes, I did.
So I see a lot of IPAs and lagers.
Lagers, IPAs. Very good IPA. Very classic.
Mm-hmm. And I just opened up a beer from Eagle Park called Goon Juice. It is a hazy IPA made with a bunch of hops. Names, I'll read them. 90% of us won't care about it, but Josh will like it. So Citra, Mosaic, Eureka, and Columbus. And I'm drinking it, and I'm like, Eureka, it's pretty good. Eagle Park, we love them. Check them out.
He had a revelation.
Revelation. So it's interesting that between Smash Brothers Melee and Smash Brothers Brawl was a 7-year break between the two games. And ballsy Iwata himself at E3 announces that the game is coming and will have an online component without telling Sakurai. Sakurai was in the audience. He didn't know the game was getting announced. He had no idea. And then so Iwata, they had a meeting that night, maybe the next night. One of them
brought him up to his hotel room.
In the hotel room, and he said, "Yeah, we would love it if you worked with us on this." And he said, "If you don't, we're just gonna make a port of Melee and put online features on there." And Sakurai, yep, Sakurai did not like that.
Holy shit!
Those two are buddies too. Iwata made a pretty big play that was important for the Wii. I understand why he did it.
It's funny. They didn't need Brawl to sell units of Wiis.
No, they
at
didn't.
all, which they needed Smash Brothers to sell the GameCube.
Maybe they didn't know at the time, though. That was before the Wii was out.
The way it popped off. And then it came out almost 2 years after the thing released. I mean, I remember by that point, I had almost given up on the Wii. Mm-hmm. I mean, aside from waiting for like Super Mario Galaxy, or I mean, what else was there?
Was that Twilight Princess?
Twilight Princess came out with the system, though. It was day of. There wasn't anything like that people were waiting for. I feel like they really jumped the gun on the Wii in a lot of ways, unless you wanted to play shovelware games. And
it could still play GameCube games.
It's true.
Very good. And they had the GameCube controller ports.
Yeah, that was huge. If it didn't have that, I think it would have been in a lot more trouble.
Well, it allowed people to kind of go and be like, oh, well, I never played any of the GameCube games. Now I can go to like my local EB Games or GameStop and suddenly rediscover.
If you go to like a local Smash tournament, all of the Melee setups are on Wii's, so nobody even has GameCubes.
But it's a faster processor, so there's less lag. Yeah. That makes a ton of sense.
And the GameCube controller is still the preferred controller for everyone to use when they Smash. Mostly everyone. Some people want to use the Joy-Cons.
I use the Joy-Cons, and I also use the nunchuck and the remote. Thank you.
And now I use the Switch Pro controller. It's so good. So
excellent controller.
Yeah, let's just use
it's a nice controller. I don't own one.
Fun fact, the latency, we were talking about this on the way here, the latency between the Pro controller when it's wireless, because you can make it wired, and the GameCube controller was almost identical, except for a few small percents where the Pro controller was sometimes 1 frame later and sometimes 1 frame earlier.
Whoa.
Yeah, and actually in wired mode, because of the way that has to change from digital to analog, it's actually slower. Don't make it wired.
So I'm a big fan of the Wavebird.
It wasn't in the video I watched. It was like a video of a guy who wired both controllers up, and it was 1,000 inputs of many percent happened this way, and I was kind of sold. I'm like, the Pro controller is this pretty solid controller. I just like the way it feels. I always hated the triggers on the GameCube controller.
I bought the adapter to have the GameCube controllers for the Switch.
Yeah, so did I.
It's nice just so I can have my 4 GameCube controllers plugged into play.
I mean, you have the controllers already. Why not get the adapter so you can use them all?
Right.
Remember how hard those things were to buy? Man.
Yeah, now you can't find them for under like $80.
It's insane.
Well, what's crazy is I would have bought every single amiibo that has a Smash character, and I own so many of them.
Everyone.
You have every amiibo?
Jesus.
In the box still.
From the Smash franchise or from all
No,
of them?
that would be insane. Just from Smash.
Okay.
Well, you got all not in the box, but you have all the Breath of the Wild ones, right?
Oh, I do have the
the champions and all that. Oh my God, so cool.
They look good.
I'm jealous because I used to go amiibo hunting to the local stores.
Brutal. Yeah, I remember that.
When that Toys R Us over on 27th was still open, I was there probably 2 times a week.
I remember one time on one of the early launches for like Rosalina at Target, right?
Oh, God.
It was a store exclusive.
Yes.
I remember standing, we lined up, and then they opened the door, and then it was just chaos. Everyone just bolted towards the
I've only heard those stories.
All just to get the Rosalina
and Luma,
It was
character that none of them probably play.
No, I didn't play.
I showed up at Target at 7 a.m. in the morning just to get Bowser Jr.
Hey, don't knock on Bowser Jr.
Bowser Jr. is a really cool design. No, he's really cool. I like Bowser Jr.
Who's his mom? We're not sure.
He says it's Peach.
But genetically, I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like Peach.
I mean, Bowser could just have really strong genes.
I mean, Bowser could be like one of those self-replicating hermaphroditic reptiles.
It happened in the Godzilla film from 1990.
Yeah.
Happened in Jurassic Park.
Life sort of finds a way.
It truly does. Amiibo hunting. I mean, it was fun
as an adult man,
but it stressed. Yes, but it stresses you out.
Luckily, it's not like that.
It's
anymore.
like Pokemon card hunting.
No, you can find them now.
Yeah.
For me, like I don't need the English text on the box, so if I want a character, I can just get it from Japan, where there's so many of them. They can just like it's the same price, and like congratulations, maybe you paid $5 for shipping. Here you go.
Super Smash Bros. Brawl came out January 31st, 2008. 39 characters, 41 stages. The first time that they introduced third-party characters, I think everybody was very surprised when Solid Snake showed up.
One of my favorite characters to play as still. very technical, but he's so interesting, especially when you have a chaotic battlefield. You can leave those trip mines, and if you time it out right, it blows people's minds.
Yeah, he had nothing but traps.
And then that rocket, oh man, I
Nikita?
loved Snake because I'm a big Metal Gear Solid guy. So couldn't use a pistol or anything. God, no. But
you can launch a grenade, a rocket
No, not
launcher
even.
at the ground in front of you.
You can't shoot a rocket at them, but you can shoot it at your feet.
and then you're fine.
And then you have Bayonetta showing up half naked, just shooting people.
And Joker just stabbing and shooting away. And
Yes, which is weird. They let him have guns.
Well, actually, back to Solid Snake. Hideo Kojima was the one who personally requested to Sakurai because Kojima's son was such a big fan of Smash Brothers. He says, "Why isn't any of your characters in the game, Dad?"
His one character.
Yeah. Could bring someone from Snatcher.
Oh, cool.
now they're going to add Norman Reedus.
Ooh. Can you imagine a Death Strand? Oh my God.
His counter is he just throws the baby at you.
Sam Porter Bridges. That's the entire. Sam Porter Bridges walks into the battlefield.
The more things he stacks up on himself and then he like falls for his smash attack.
Next DLC, Big Boss, Miss Pac-Man.
He drinks he drinks a Monster Energy drink as like to power up.
I still need to play that game so badly.
Still waiting for Cool Spot, the 7-Up dot.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, that's actually really good.
I want the main character from Chex Quest.
Chester Cheeto, the game.
Yes, that's what I was thinking too.
The Coca-Cola polar bear?
Santa Claus.
Mickey Mouse. I'm gonna fuck you up, everybody. Sonic the Hedgehog also showed up, which was, I think people were surprised, but it kind of really makes sense.
He was supposed to be in Melee, from my understanding.
Well, there was a
rumors
big
about it.
Well, there was a big like kind of hoax that was running around. They showed like a still, but it was literally a shot from Sonic Adventure, and it was
like superimposed.
Yeah,
or something.
superimposed
you had
into
to,
there.
Knock out 20 people in Cruel Melee in
that's the one I remember.
rumor
Yeah.
To unlock Sonic and Tails. So Sonic
Still
showed
no
up.
Tails.
I wish.
I didn't love how Sonic played. He was fine.
He's way too chaotic.
He's such an annoying fucking character. Let's just be real with ourselves. Spin dash, just
the hardest.
On.
I haven't played a lot of the very best players that like in Wisconsin, but I have played against probably the best Sonic in the Midwest.
Really?
Who's that?
Reed Powell, plug. I took one stock off of him, which I was pretty proud of. But yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Sonic doesn't have a good lateral movement, right? When he's trying to get back on the stage. I remember his
up B, he doesn't really have any maneuverability out of it. But you can air dodge and attack after it.
Yeah.
So
like
there's some advantage there.
Oh.
Yeah, kind of like Mega Man can do the same thing. Mega Man can actually jump after his up B.
Well, that's essentially the same thing, yeah.
But Sonic cannot use his double jump after his up B.
Really?
It's different, yeah.
Up special.
And
twice?
Rush is not a hitbox. Sonic's spring is a hitbox.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've seen him gimp people now.
Yeah, that's.
that thing. Yeah,
I remember watching the Invitational for Ultimate, and it was MKLeo and Zero were playing each other, and MKLeo was using Sonic, and he must have done that run off the stage up B, so the spring hits him at least 50 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it was it works.
Dropping it on him to make
It's
sense.
not strong, but it's annoying.
Then we also have Wario, which I absolutely love his character design.
The appropriate choice was to make him from WarioWare Inc. because
it's a unique
that's
design.
almost his. It's also his. It's truly for me now his identity because either he shows up in sports games or nothing. He's not in main Mario titles. They're not making Wario Land games anymore.
That's like Waluigi started in Mario Tennis.
Yeah.
And he's only been he's famous for being in all these spin-off Mario games.
I think Sakurai's going to save him as the last DLC character for Ultimate.
He put a couple of characters in there like as spirits or assist trophies to like try to be like, we're not actually going to put them in there, but bam, we're going to put them in there.
Yeah.
Like I want Tails, I want Waluigi.
That'd be cool.
It's never going to happen, but I want Sackboy from Little Big Planet more than anything.
They need to port that.
No.
They need to port it.
Media Molecule's still pretty exclusive. So
You're a big Sackboy guy.
I love Little Big Planet. It's probably that might be my favorite game ever.
Really?
Number 3.
And Dreams comes out Valentine's Day.
I'm interested. I don't have a PS4 anymore.
Do you want one?
How much are you selling it for?
I'll give you a deal.
Oh, you got to get Dreams.
How about this?
What I really
How
want-
about you guys play Smash for it?
Nope. I'll lose.
You'd have to put something up.
First of all, I want a PS4 that's the Death Stranding one, the limited edition, where it looks like the controller looks like the BB like capsule, and then it's really gross. I want that one.
Okay. Diddy Kong also introduced. This game also kind of had Final Smashes, which are cool, but they're never going to be used competitively. I think they're pretty cool, though.
Yeah,
I loved them.
The problem is, like, some characters are really cool and
some
unique,
of them are trash.
and then there's like 19 characters that are all the sword fighters that just hit you up in the air and then smack you around 50 times.
Yeah, but
and
if
anime
missed,
final battle.
You know?
Well, here's my question: who has the best Final Smash? Because I have one that I think is a mixture of like technical, but also very interesting.
I think that would depend on how many people you're fighting against.
I always play around 4. My experiences with this is playing in the dorms with people. Smash Brothers Brawl there.
I just Googled it. It says Peach/Daisy, Zelda, Wario
For best Final Smash?
in Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Oh, and Ultimate.
That-
No, we're talking
Zelda's
about
is
we're talking
okay.
Brawl though.
This is what Kotaku said a year ago, so it's
Oh,
gotta be
Kotaku.
true.
Wow.
I don't know. Some of them.
I think Pac-Man.
Thing that
Because you
across
don't have to
everywhere.
hit somebody initially. It works no matter what, and it goes like 4 times.
But that I tend to think of like the coolest ones as being something where it almost creates a mini game.
Well, I was thinking of like the most
effective. No,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. Pac-Man is
Yeah, of course you're thinking about the minigame aspect, not just like the most effective.
because I want to do something fun. I like Solid Snakes, where suddenly you get that third-person view and you're lobbing grenades at
Very
people.
cool.
That was always my favorite because
I don't understand his in Ultimate, really. You just kind of try to aim at people, but the missiles just go wherever they want anyway.
I know
It's
it's a little different.
So Final Smashes were added, and that's something that the competitive scene can choose to not have, which is fine. Something that they are not able to turn off, though, is a tripping mechanic that was added to Smash Brawl, where your character, when you're like changing direction, would randomly just trip and fall over.
I like it.
You fucking chaotic
Brawl is
evil.
still my favorite.
and it was like random.
It's completely random.
Yeah, it was. You would
Like
think
life.
it's like, oh, if you're just dash dancing too much and like not managing your movement, you trip. I've seen videos where the people are they're controlling 3 or 4 of the same character and they're running back and forth, and one of them will trip. And they're doing the same exact thing at the same exact time.
Yeah.
And it's like, if that was a thing still, I probably would not play the game.
That was just Sakurai passively aggressively getting back.
I think he was trying to add more of a layer of
This will
random.
affect millions,
Yeah.
so he was happy.
I thought the tripping was funny.
He wanted. I mean, he did try and.
It's the Mario Kart aspect of
Yes,
Smash.
it truly is. Yes, I think that's cool in a lot of ways.
He wanted it to be friendlier to casual players as well, and he really pissed off. He didn't piss off, but they just abandoned Brawl, a lot of them. I loved Brawl.
I
but
do too.
The competitive scene didn't hold on to it because of that. Assist trophies were also introduced, as well as online play. I don't think anyone has strong feelings about the online play for that.
I played a lot of it.
How was it, latency wise?
Not as bad as you would think.
So bad. It was still bad.
No.
Complete dog
Me and a friend,
shit.
we had as long as you were just connecting that Ethernet cable straight to the back, it was good.
Okay.
If you were trying to do anything close to like Wi-Fi adapters or anything like that, nope, not gonna happen.
That's how Ultimate kind of is. Like if you're both people have a wired connection, it's manageable.
Yes.
You're maybe one or 2 frames behind, and it's like, okay, I get used to it. But then you'll get into like a quick game, and I'm just jumping off. And even now, if you jump off an SD on purpose, the game like knows, and it's like, you can't do that. And if you do it again, you can't go online for an hour or something.
That's crazy. That
Yeah.
happened to me where the game disconnected and I got a 10-minute ban.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Come on.
Yeah. I got that on Final Fantasy 14 yesterday.
How about fix your shit?
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
I'm turning you off for an hour, motherfucker.
I'm gonna go make some pasta.
Needed this break anyway.
You're making pasta all angry.
And you're just like, "Ooh,
Online
boil,
play.
damn you, boil.
So the story mode, I think, in Brawl was probably my favorite story mode out of all of them.
Subspace Emissary.
Subspace Emissary. They brought in Kazushika Nojima of Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts scenario writing fame.
Yeah.
Which you can tell.
You can fight Rayquaza in this game.
Yeah, it's interesting that they brought in characters that aren't fighters. Rob the Robot is the ancient minister character, but I think the interesting inclusion is the final boss, which is Taboo. Sakurai's always got something weird going on with his story in his games. He's thinking about something in the background.
Another Lovecraftian.
I think the taboo is like the social stigma that you're not supposed to be playing games, or like, is it acceptable to still be doing this?
Yeah.
And your imagination, your characters have to come together and overpower it. The taboo is even trying to get the bad guys to like work against him. King DDD, you think's a bad guy, but he's actually a good guy in the game.
He's so cute.
He's so dang cute, this little bird guy.
Sakurai actually voices him in these games.
And I think that he takes special pride when he's trolling us in the reveal trailers as King DDD 2 before King K. Rool showed up.
Yeah, so good.
I thought Brawl was great. Did we have any different mains? I had to main as Ike because Roy wasn't in there.
Toon Link.
Toon Link, very cool. Probably my favorite version of Link.
He's fast, he's nimble. His spin does less damage, but it's more fun for recovery. The bombs are easier to use. The down B, though slower, a lot slower, is still really fun.
So my experience with Brawl, I had still played Melee a lot, and then I went over to a friend's house to play Brawl. I never had a Wii, and I never had a Wii U, because I think I was pretty much dedicated to PlayStation for a while. So I was like, oh, yes, I love Smash Bros. I want to play Brawl. And I was so excited about Snake. I love Metal Gear Solid. I wanted to play Snake. And I, for some reason at the time, was really excited about Little Mac. That has totally gone away. But he's
really love him.
He's cool, on a stage without edges. But I played it, and as I was playing it, and I had the GameCube controller, and it just probably most of the Melee community, it didn't feel right, and I was like, this is so slow.
Yeah,
and if you watch like the Smash Brothers documentary, when they show like from Melee to Brawl when it came out, they're like, everyone was so excited, and they show it, and everything almost seems like it's in slow motion. Yeah. I wish I would have stuck it out, because I probably would have gotten into Project M, because I've seen people play it in public, and it looks pretty cool. And I love that like someone decided to do that. I think that's awesome.
I've heard it's a pretty quick thing to do.
And they update it still. It's like an SD card.
Yeah, it's just an SD card you just plug in and then it works. Like soft modding a game. That's very cool.
It's unreal.
That is nice.
I heard that some people are making new Monkey Ball levels. And I really want that, because that game for the GameCube, you can play them on the Wii.
Monkey Ball 2.
Bull sharing hard. I remember that game.
I love Monkey Ball 2.
I want II as a new character in Smash Brothers.
That actually would be
that would be good.
Legit. If they just made one new Super Monkey Ball game.
They should just take all the characters from PlayStation All-Stars and put them in Smash.
I don't want Cole McGrath.
Well, okay, not Cole.
Princess?
Hey, Fat Princess is good.
Sir Daniel would be cool.
Daniel would be
they released
rad.
that for this. I don't know.
Smash Brothers, the next one that came out, Brawl was 2008. The next one that came out was in 2014.
Yes.
And we had Super Smash Brothers with this great title, Super Smash Brothers for 3DS or Super Smash Brothers for Wii U.
Great. Brilliant.
Awesome. I remember like it was yesterday, because the GameStop that I bought the game from had a midnight launch and held like a makeshift tournament, if you would. It wasn't good or anything like that, but GameStops don't typically do that, so it was really cool.
A midnight tournament.
Yeah, so
very cool.
Yeah, so I bought the 3DS version, which I probably played that game more than most games.
Well, that game released 4 months earlier than the Wii U version. And I remember that because I said, I'm waiting for the Wii U one, because I, for the first time, own a Wii U. And I never played the 3DS version.
So good. You'd be playing that game, and when you get like the notifications, it's like, congratulations, you've played 12,000 rounds. And I'm like, wow, I've played so much of this game.
Did you have the new Nintendo 3DS, or did you have you had the new one? Because I heard there was a controversy that it didn't incorporate the Circle Pad Pro if you had a regular one, and then you put that on there.
You talking about that nub thing on the right?
Nub. Well, not the nub on the right. I'm talking about the...
Oh, yeah, it incorporated that. Fine. That's what I used.
Wait, then the Circle Pad Pro... Oh, the right one. Yeah.
It wasn't viable to use that for me, so I've just used the face buttons, and it was fine. So it was small enough.
With the 3DS, did you play games with strangers as you were on the bus or here or there?
Honestly, at the time, I remember I was in Florida, so I remember I was playing against people at tournaments that would just bring their 3DSs. So mid-game, in between games, we would just crank out like a 3DS. But a lot of it was really online Wi-Fi, which was actually not that bad for the most part. I'd say about 75% of my games were decent, and the 25 were just awful. You just want to SD and kill, just get it over with.
Well, the 3DS, I remember playing a lot of Monster Hunter games on the 3DS, and some of them were brilliant. And when you got a really great connection, it was some of the best experiences I've had because you were playing such a big game on a little thing. Nintendo has always been spotty with their online, though.
So the 3DS version, would you say it's extremely comparable to the Wii U? Did it feel the same? I know that they had maybe some different stages and some different elements, but otherwise it was pretty much the same game, right?
Pretty much the same game, I would say, for the most part. Mechanics-wise, they felt the same across the two. And I guess you weren't using a GameCube controller, so you're using face buttons. I have very fond memories of playing on the 3DS. It was a very good experience, and it was very similar to the Wii U version that did come out, for sure.
Did that one still have the tripping mechanic? Or did they ditch that?
No, I think...
No, that was like pretty much Smash 4.
No, I thought Sakurai announced that it didn't.
I thought it was just because of the banana that...
Oh, you're talking about just like when random...
when you just randomly trip.
I don't remember doing that.
I know that this one, they announced that it was going to be kind of part melee, part...
Yeah, it was supposed to be like the
middle
bridge.
ground.
It was supposed to be like the bridge.
Faster, less chance bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't think that too much else changed other than they tried to just kind of speed the gameplay up. We did get a bunch of new characters. Little Mac, Villager.
Favorite character.
Yeah, that's what started the amiibo craze and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Original Villager, original Moths, man.
Those are still worth a ton of cash.
Mm-hmm. You know what? 10 years from now, I'm going to have this full collection, hopefully, if Sakurai stops adding characters to Smash.
I hope
And
they
like a
still
half
use
burned
amiibos,
down
right?
house, and you're just like, what have
I've
I
got
done?
50 grand right here.
Is this your Rosebud?
This is the first one that they really start having just ultra badass reveal trailers. Trailers just for specific characters. You see Mario, Link, and Kirby doing super cute yoga, and Wii Fit Trainer shows up. Not the best one, but I really liked it. Duck Hunt Dog, where all the 2D characters come onto there and they invite him to come fight. That was a surprise. Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII. That was the biggest one that I think everyone was surprised for.
Yeah.
A character not on a Nintendo console ever.
Well, he's on him now.
He's on him now.
Reddit ruined that for me. Thanks, Reddit.
Well, I remember being in high school still when they announced Super Smash Brothers Brawl. There was this kid, and he's like, I can't wait till Cloud's in Smash. And I turned to him and I said, they're never going to fucking play Cloud.
That kid is laughing at you right now.
Like, I bet he is. But I'm like,
but
he was like, I was just like, he's not even on the fucking system, dude.
And there's the awesome trailer where Reggie and Iwata are going to fight each other, and they make Miis, and they just like kind of go back and forth. And then Iwata drops the Mario amiibo onto his Wii U pad, and Reggie goes, Mario. If you haven't seen that in a long time, check it out. That trailer is so geeky. Anytime Iwata and Reggie and Shigeru are hanging out, you're going to get pure gold. A lot of new characters, a lot of new stages. This introduced 8-player battles for the first time.
Not on every stage. It had to be a big enough stage.
Certain stages, yes.
Mm-hmm. Too big for me. Too much to pay attention to.
It gets wild on 8-player Smash.
I can't. For like a party, I can see it being like, if you've got a projector screen, I get it. But for every other purpose, I have no reason that I would ever want to see something that complicated. Mm-hmm. I play MMOs, and I can barely understand what's going on.
It is very easy to lose track. Even when you have 4 people, you're like, I don't know where I am, which is why I play Pac-Man when there's that many people, because I'm the yellow circle. But I think it would be so fun to get like some 4 versus 4. I still want to do that as a tournament, but you have to have a minimum of 16 people to host a tournament of teams of 4. Yeah,
I love the Smash documentary where it just turns into East Coast versus West Coast very quickly.
It's like Gang Wars.
Yeah, like rap.
Yeah.
Amiibo fighters, you could raise them.
I did it.
I did that.
I bought one amiibo, and it was a Pikachu amiibo, and I put it up there and I trained it, and I said, I don't know. I think is this what it is?
So like once these amiibo, so you can get them leveled up to 50. Once they get to level 50, they become the most god-awful button input reading arseholes. And you will never... I couldn't beat a level... Could you ever beat a level 50 amiibo?
These are the hardest.
Ultimate?
These are the hardest.
I think that the amiibos, the level 50s, typically are easier than level 9 computers to me.
Really?
But that's because they change their behavior. So they change it based on what attacks they hit with the most. If they hit with a forward air more than anything else, they're going to use that all the time.
Yeah.
At some point, sometimes they just start jumping around and they don't even attack you. Really? And I like them because it does change. When you play against a computer, it's always the same. You can know what to expect. With an amiibo, at least there's some variation. I mean, it's not as good as playing against an actual person who will destroy you, but they do hit harder. A Marth amiibo will hit harder than a Marth computer.
This was something that was odd with this game as well, because I don't know if you can do this in Ultimate anymore, where you can equip different armor and items onto your characters and set different attacks.
Not anymore.
That is something that I really didn't like, because I thought there was already enough characters and things going on to where you can further go in there and customize
would be insane.
It's interesting.
I didn't like that.
50 characters. And
I know. Yeah, I remember. I didn't really play Smash 4, but I know I remember hearing you could customize every single character's specials.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they would always be using the same special. So it was like they eventually just. I almost feel like it was a tool to okay, these are the moves we're going to use in Ultimate then. Yeah. These are the ones people wanted.
Yeah, they would have rule sets and stuff.
Yeah. The Mii Fighters are the biggest troll characters. Because I made a Randy Marsh and a Hank Hill Mii Fighter, and I use those, and people are just well, this is dumb.
Especially in the Wii U days, because with every other character, you can kind of understand what they're coming at you with. There's a layer of randomness that is just kind of unfair when you come at them with a Mii Fighter.
I remember the first time I played Alex with a Mii Gunner.
Probably.
I think you're I don't know if I've ever played against a Mii Gunner, and I think I did beat you because I kept. There's a down B move where you can just keep dropping these little bombs.
And then it fires.
If they hit it, it explodes. And once he comes into contact, or if I drop another one, the old one explodes. And I just kind of did that 200 times. And but it was it's they're really annoying character. They're the Mii Brawler throws a bowling ball at you. What does that even come from?
Yeah.
But
Wii Sports.
I don't know, they're fun. They're neat.
It's an interesting inclusion. It's a way that Sakurai can give you a Geno character without making a Geno character.
Geno or Gomon from Mystical Ninja or Sans.
And Cuphead.
Yeah.
Although Cuphead, it's more than just an outfit. That is just physically, it just looks like Cuphead to me.
That's how Sans is
Sans is.
Everyone bought Sans. Everyone's probably going to buy Cuphead.
I'm gonna just buy. I think I already bought the fighter pack, so I still get Byleth and Cuphead as part of
the outfits you buy separately.
Really?
Come on.
Yeah, you don't get the outfits for free. Unfortunately, I had to buy those. Are you gonna play boy Byleth or girl Byleth?
I'm
always the girl version.
Always the girl. I don't know why.
I was about to say I don't like playing as Fire Emblem characters.
I cannot stand male Corrin. I just don't like them.
I like Corrin, the black suit Corrin. That's the one, man.
And there was no story mode in Smash Brothers 4. Instead, they had Smash Tour, which was kind of like
a board game.
Almost like a board game where you moved around.
It's like Mario Party almost. It wasn't that bad. I remember it not being awful.
Compared to Subspace Emissary, though, or anything else, this felt like a real letdown. The end boss is something called Master Core, which turns into a few different things. What I think is interesting at the end, Master Core, its only thing, it's this little ball that just comes right to your character and it doesn't attack you. You can't die to it unless you fall off yourself. It just wants to die. It's like Sakurai's over this shit.
Just do it already.
Was he?
He was, and he intended to retire. But Iwata's last request for him personally before he passed away was to make one more Smash Brothers game.
For the Switch.
I
think this is maybe the last one for a very long time, or the last
very long time.
I think that he loves, the DLC aspect of it. He can just kind of
do it at his own pace.
Just focus on some characters here and there.
One character at a time and fix the rest. Yeah. It's minor now.
Dude, there's 50 more Fire Emblem characters he could put in.
Easy.
And then we'll put in one.
Should put in some more Xenoblade characters.
That would be cool. I really want to Rex.
You have Rex.
Let's wait, guys.
With Rex and Pyra.
Let's talk about Ultimate for a little bit, and then we're going to talk about all the characters we want.
Okay.
That E3 announcement was bonkers. Remember that?
I was rolling on the floor. I remember.
I was dedicated to getting the Switch initially because the way that it worked, this is the key to getting a Pokemon game on the console. And that was why I wanted it. And it worked, but it wasn't quite what I expected. But and then Smash came out, and it's
hold it in, Dylan. Hold it in.
It's fine.
Hold it in, Dylan.
It was such a good trailer.
It's fine.
I love.
Hold it in, Dylan.
Takes me back.
Those super cheeky release trailers. Okay, so you have Samus, Mario, and Mega Man just walking down a corridor together. Mario disappears. Mega Man disappears. Ridley straight up killing Nintendo characters before it's revealed Ridley, joins the fight. How great was Luigi in Dracula's castle in Castlevania.
Oh my God.
You know what? Luigi's Mansion 4/Castlevania 17. I want a crossover where it's a Belmont and Luigi doing Luigi's Mansion in
Where
Dracula's
it's kind
castle.
of like it's kind of like a Lethal Weapon, but it's Simon and
It's the
Luigi.
next co-op Nintendo game when you can be Luigi or a Simon.
Two characters that couldn't control more differently, but it's a co-op game where you have to work together.
That'd be awesome.
Those trailers are so good, and King DDD trolling before K. Rool shows up.
Yeah,
So good.
And
that
then
one is so funny.
Duck Hunt trolling before Banjo Kazooie
yeah.
shows up.
I remember watching a reaction video, and
Yeah.
it was a guy who's
Yep.
like the biggest Banjo Kazooie fan. He's got like all these plushies, and then it's Duck Hunt, and he's like, Banjo, fuck that dog up, and then Banjo comes down and like bonks him on the head or whatever, and I was like,
I think, first of all, brilliant choice. Second of all,
Banjo
let's
should have
get
been
some
in a
Banjo.
long time ago.
Let's get a remaster of Banjo on the Switch.
Yeah.
Do you know how much that would sell?
Maybe talk to Rare, right? Or Microsoft? Is Microsoft
They
now?
Get
can do it now. They
a
can do it now.
remaster in the vein of like a
They did
Spyro
it.
or
They
Crash
did it for
remaster.
The Rare
Conker's Bad
replay.
Fur Day
Yeah.
on Xbox,
Well, they did the whole Rare
But
replay.
they took the cuss words out for the Conker's Live and Reloaded.
and they changed the multiplayer.
Ick.
Though the multiplayer was brand new for Live and Reloaded,
Yeah,
right?
it was. It was weird. I didn't.
The squirrels versus the teddies. The problem was they took the cuss
Brad's
words.
a huge fan. Brad's a huge fan.
I do like the Conker series. I mean,
I do too.
It was hot back in the day. If they made a new Conker with like relative modern film references, where he's like referencing John Wick instead of The Matrix,
Yeah.
could be great. That's neither here nor there. Some other characters: Richter, Simon, Piranha, Joker.
The Richter amiibo I just got a couple days ago. So cool.
Super happy that Castlevania.
I still
made it
want
in
the
there.
Simon one. The Simon one
Yeah.
looks fabulous.
Bummed Alucard is just an assist trophy. Okay, let's talk about the story mode for Smash Ultimate.
Spirit mode.
Spirit board.
Spirit board.
Love it. I love Spirits. It's a little long.
Yeah, they could have shortened it. I mean, there's like
So
600
many.
fights
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
ridiculous.
It's too stretched out because at some point, all I know is that I got the Baby Mario or the Piranha Plant where I start off giant. If I get the first hit, I get a star. I can knock out 98% of battles within 5 seconds that way, and there's no challenge.
I like the conditional nature of it though. Like it's a very quick match, and
you have
there
to
are specific
adapt,
things you
kind of.
have
But
to
you
do.
don't have to adapt once you get
Yeah,
some
you-
god tier stuff.
Yeah.
And you just smash through it. No
Yeah,
pun intended.
yeah. You get the right stuff, and then you're done.
I think
that way-
a more carefully curated with difficult options where you actually had to strategize a little bit.
Well, maybe if they added a hard mode.
with a quarter less.
yeah,
I think that this adventure mode, especially this might be people's first Super Smash Brothers. I think that it introduces you to a lot of the items very well. I
Yeah.
think that it shows you what they can do and how you can use them in
It's a
very
good
specific
catch-all.
ways. And I think that's the purpose that it's supposed to serve. I don't think it's supposed to be something for us who have played these games for hours and hours and hours. I think it's for everyone else.
it's
I
not,
think
it's not probably the most effective way to unlock every character either.
no, it's not.
it's not. Classic
You can
mod's
just
what
do
I
it on
mean.
classic.
Yeah.
and you
I
unlock
earn it way
characters just by
faster.
playing.
Way faster.
Also, I had all the amiibos, so I could just fucking do it anyway. So
And one thing else about story mode, I think it's great that the characters are kind of apart from us. In all of Smash Brothers, they're either the plushies or the
Yeah.
trophies. They're characters that we have these ideas of what they're supposed to be. And you have Gleam and Darkon, which is just like the light and the dark is what it looks like. But they're both bad guys. You have to beat them at the same time to get the right ending. I watched a game theorist video where the game theorist, he said, Gleam can represent Nintendo and Darkon represents what the fans want. And they're fighting over these characters. And Sakurai's got some weird meta going on. And he writes the lyrics to the song that's in the game. And I tried to break it down. He's always up to something, but the gameplay's tight. So I don't reflect too tight on the story mode.
You
But
don't
I think
have to.
It's
It
fine
is.
when they're in the background, but when there is more going on if you wanted to break down where Sakurai is coming from with that.
well, it's these world-destroying creatures who have wills of their own, and it's not necessarily good and it's not necessarily bad. It's this idea of like they're forces of nature. In each of them, like even Master Hand, it's not like a personified anything. It's just this giant floating hand that can do anything.
And spirits are a new addition to the game. It is a way of altering the gameplay for each battle. I don't think anyone competitively is going to be using spirits, but it is a way where you can, if you're going up against a person that's metal, you can use a metal killer spirit. It's interesting in story mode, and I do enjoy, like, what is that spirit event
Yeah, that's really cool. Where it's like limited time.
Yeah, they
To
kind
fight the
of throw some new stuff out there. Yeah.
It's interesting the way that they can reference other characters. I remember a very difficult one in story mode was Big Boss from this Metal Gear Solid series, and it was Zero Suit Samus, and she was tough as shit. I remember hitting my head against that one for a long time. And one of them was Dr. Wily, because you had to fight like 16 Mega Men variations.
And then Dr. Wario.
It's interesting that they can have alternate gameplay experiences based on just tweaking little aspects here and there. Eventually, though, it falls into every robot character's Rob. That's what's going to happen eventually. But what else changed in Ultimate? It kind of did feel a little bit like a port of 4 with a lot more things.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's like fine-tuned.
The animations were very similar. I'm going to say that they did use that as a skeleton.
It has like maybe just slightly less like balloon physics.
Yeah.
Even when it was announced, people weren't sure. It just said Super Smash Brothers. People weren't sure if it was a port.
Oh, yeah. That was a big confusion because comparatively, it was only 3 years since the last one. I think people were accepting of the fact that this could have been a port.
And that every Wii U game didn't get enough love because not enough people had the Wii U.
Well, it turns out now they're all on us.
Tropical Freeze is still $40, and I will not buy the port, but I want it desperately.
I do too. I want to play it on my Switch.
Yep.
Very badly.
I do like the concept of Echo Fighters, which has kind of been around since, Fox and Falco, but at least they have a name for it now.
Like tweaks on speed and attack for characters that
just
might...
subtle things, same movesets. And they really embrace it here, where even Bowser Jr. Do they have 8 different Bowser Jr.?
Yeah, it's all the 8 Bowser kids.
They're just a different
That
costume.
is wild.
Isn't
I
that
had
crazy?
no idea. So Ludwig Koopa is going to be different than Morton Koopa?
No, they're Echo Fighters. They're
all Bowser Jr.
I know, I know that, but
yeah,
they have slight variations.
I don't think so.
No, they don't hit any differently or move any differently.
I thought you were saying that.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's way too much.
Well,
That would be nuts for one.
It's kind of
character.
like
right?
Peach and Daisy are essentially the same.
Yeah, they're like have like
Pit and Dark Pit, Samus and Dark Samus.
with
like
very
Dark Pit has a
very
longer
minute
range, right?
and
I think they
his
picked-
arrow
are
his
they
arrow
Echo
is like
characters?
handles a
I
little
don't think they're
slower.
Echo characters.
What's that?
I think
Pit and Dark
they're
Pit.
all-
Yeah, they're Echo characters.
Really?
Yeah, they're
Maybe-
definitely Echo characters. I knew that.
I really appreciate the inclusion. So they have almost every stage of all time, but they also have Final Destination versions of each stage.
Yes, that's
as well
so
as
good.
like the version with
Battlefield,
like
yeah,
the Battlefield. How
and
great is that?
So good.
That you can. That's now you can get the right music.
And speaking of music, this is the best collection of Nintendo music
Yes.
ever made. Not Nintendo
amazing.
music, video game music.
Yes, hands
Yeah.
down. Hands down.
The only reason I still want to keep playing is to make sure I unlock every musical track.
That
'Cause
was.
I don't care
yeah.
about getting the spirits.
I checked the Mi store like every hour to see if a new song was in there until I had every single one. And you can go through like every stage individually and set what songs you want to play
On
all
that
the time
stage,
and
yeah.
what songs you want to not.
Percentages to the
Yeah.
percentage.
Brilliant.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
so cool.
You can
Very
you can
cool.
make playlists if you just want to listen to
Yeah.
music while you're on an
Oh,
airplane
man.
or something and not play the game. You can just make playlists for yourself.
Yeah, it's so
Wanted
good.
to.
They did it right. They did it right.
I have one question I want to ask everybody, but before I get to that, anything else on Smash Ultimate you guys want to talk about before we get to the last question?
I think it's the one that really has done the best job, at least, to unite the Smash community.
I was going to say
Yeah.
Because there was a huge divide
Between
for
Smash
a long
4
time.
and Melee,
where it was
yeah.
like
Yeah.
nobody played the same game, 2 different games or whatever. And now almost everyone plays Ultimate in some capacity.
Would you describe this
Everyone
as-
is here. It is very inclusive.
Yep.
It is everything, every stage,
I mean,
every
I went
character,
like
all the music.
I went
Yeah.
all
Throw
in on
it
this
all
game.
at
Like
everybody.
I don't know if I ever showed you the cards I made that I also made into amiibos.
Yeah.
Not sure.
So they're all holographic, professionally printed cards of every character with the stats and their amiibos.
Whoa.
And I made like poster prints of. I gave you some of the little ones of the.
I have those.
Yeah.
I still have that.
Of like every
Still got all
All the characters. Yeah, that's
really
So
cool.
I mean, it was like is a game I really dove into.
So the cards are amiibos.
Yeah, all it is an NFC sticker. You can make them with your phone. Probably
We
not-
should
not
train
legal.
Brad and Dylan amiibos.
Oh, what would you be? A brawler, a gunner, or a
Yeah, you could place bet. They do amiibo
Be a
tournaments.
Pikachu,
actually.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
You'd be a Pikachu.
Custom tournament, all of that.
No, we'll make me fighters.
That's how I train against every
We
single
won't tell each
character.
other what they are.
Okay. All right. We'll do that. We'll do that one. I'll train a Mii fighter.
And trying to figure out the number of characters in Smash Ultimate, it's a tricky thing to discern because people have different opinions on
what
Echo
is a
Fighters,
different character.
the number of Bowser Juniors. It's not as clear cut. I saw a lot of different numbers.
I think with the Mii fighters, once Byleth comes out, if you count the Echo Fighters and not different costumes like Bowser Kids or like Alf and Olimar, it's 80.
What kind of roster is this, guys?
It's overwhelming, but it's a charming.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming, but I can confidently name 72 of them. I can't name every Bowser Jr. kid, but I can name
You can't name all the
I could.
Koopa kids?
No, I can't. I can name a lot of them. Okay.
We can do our Mario.
Name all 8 of them right now.
Wendy, Morton, Roy, Iggy, Ludwig. Then we've got what's they're all. I said Iggy, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh shit. What's that one? Larry, Lemmy.
And Bowser Jr.
Well, no, he doesn't. That's all.
No,
of
but
them.
I think that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, I knew.
damn it, you and your autism. You're the fucking God.
I'm high functioning, bitches.
I'm surprised they didn't do like the way they did like Alpha and Olimar and then the female and male versions of like some of the Fire Emblem characters. Weren't the Dragon Quest games like you could choose a male or female version?
No,
I thought
they've been almost always male.
Why not like Miss Pac-Man?
That seems like an obvious one.
Yeah, I know.
Speaking of characters, what characters do we want for the next round of DLC? Now, we already know Crash Bandicoot's rumored.
He's been rumored though for a long time.
I think
deserves it.
it's probable.
He does.
Can you imagine the cool jumping mechanics?
He'd have that spin move that Incineroar has.
Now, barring
Darkest
Fire
Lariat.
Emblem characters, what other characters do we want to see included?
Fuck Rex, then I guess.
That's not Fire Emblem. That's
Oh no, that's Xenoblade. No, I would say I wanted Rex, but they already said that they gave us the outfit costume for the Mii
but Rex
fighter.
and Pyra,
They can
like
change
as
that,
a
though.
double.
Or they could give us Pyro.
Well, there's a bullshit Crom
like
costume.
a Rosalina and Luma. It could be Rex
That
and
would be
Pyra.
cool. Oh my god, could you imagine?
So you want
that'd be
you want a
so
Xenoblade character?
I would love another Xenoblade.
Is that like
character.
would that be your first like
I
your
don't-
number one?
That game
number
didn't
one?
sell
If
well
they
enough,
could do
though.
like Rex with Pyra, that would be insane.
like a switch off, or maybe like it's Rex controlling Pyra the same way that.
Remember the way they did like Zelda Sheik in Melee? They could do something.
Yeah, they
like
could
that.
do it like that, or like
Let's each choose 2 characters that we want in, so we don't talk for another half an hour.
I only have really one that comes to mind right now. That would be Rex, because Xenoblade 2 is awesome.
You might have your mind jogged while we go around. Let's each.
Okay.
yeah.
Dylan, who are you thinking?
Oh, I want Blue the dog from Kentucky Route Zero because that's about to come out on the Switch. It's an
Everyone's
old
got-
dog who can't do anything.
What would its fighting skills be?
Kind of bark and then kind of like mosey on over.
Do you have more of a real?
Shit, not right now. Your turn.
Unrealistically, Sackboy and Earthworm Jim.
Earthworm Jim was on my
Jim.
potential list.
I would fuck. Those would be the only probably 2 characters that I'd be like, these are my new mains.
Earthworm Jim would be great.
Realistically, Dig Dug and man, because I think he'd be so fun. And Sir Daniel or Ratchet and Clank.
They
Again,
need to release one game
yeah,
on there
they're
before.
they've never been on Nintendo. So
There could be a port. There could be like a remaster. I could see that Cloud wasn't on there,
Yeah.
and they got
Yeah.
him on. As long as it's not.
they're
owned
talking about adding
exclusively.
like Dante from Devil May Cry. I mean, that was a PlayStation thing
Oh,
for a
that'd be
long.
legit to quit. I mean, he's on there now.
Yeah.
How about you, Brad?
Let's go ahead and say something that's possible rather than something I'd like. I'd like another entry from the Sonic franchise.
Tails.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Dr. Robotnik.
That'd be cool.
I want
Another heavy
I
character.
want
They would
Robotnik.
Could be an Echo Fighter for Bowser Jr.
I love having the bad guy and the good guy before you start throwing in your. I mean, Knuckles would be cool. I prefer Knuckles to Tails, but Robotnik, he has the huge amount of different machines he's
Yeah.
used.
He'd
Create a
be
lot
really-
of cool smash attacks.
Like his
I mean,
boss fight stuff.
He'd be in one mechanic suit, and then like he could just like do this
Knuckles
or
could
this.
honestly be like a Sonic costume.
Yeah,
But Tails would be cool.
Shadow could be a Sonic costume.
Yeah.
Silver could be a Sonic costume.
Oh, our favorite.
Listen to our Sonic the Lore episode,
Yeah,
guys.
please
If you
listen.
haven't, it is
It's bonkers.
it's madness. But I think Eggman would be a cool character.
He would be.
And
That would be good.
He'd be
it's something that
annoying.
would be unique.
Yeah, he'd be annoying. That'd be cool.
I do have another one that I have 2 more that I thought of. First one is Shovel Knight. I want to see Shovel Knight in this game.
He's in like other spin-off fighting games too, like
he's
2 or 3 of them.
He's basically the Kickstarter boy.
He's in Bloodstained. He's in Ukulele.
Yes.
He's in Brawlhalla and Brawlout, I think.
He is the Kickstarter boy. I love him. I love him so much.
Also, maybe there's a Echo Fighter of Mario, but Mario with Cappy as a mechanic.
He's already in there. He's a taunt.
Yeah, but I want him to be like almost Kirby-like.
Baby Mario with Yoshi.
I think Mario
Baby Yoshi would be so cool.
No, Mario's
That would be cool.
Mario's
recover life by catching Mario
That would
as a
be
baby.
dope.
Mario's gameplay needs to be changed to include Cappy and to include more modern game
I thought
mechanics,
they would.
but also a Baby Mario and a Paper Mario.
Paper Mario as a fighter would be so good.
Or Goombette, like the female Goomba.
I mean,
What about Toad? He's still just a move.
He's just a counter.
Yeah.
I think Toad's too much of a pacifist. He wouldn't, even Smash Brothers, he's like, nah, I'm going to just go like dig in the backyard and not jump.
Kill me, please.
Peach brings him out and he's mortified. I think Waluigi should definitely be in there.
Maybe like a Koopa Trooper.
maybe like a Koopa Paratrooper, something like that. That'd be all right.
Birdo should be a character at this point.
It'd be a unique take on Yoshi. Because Yoshi's a pretty unique character.
For sure.
Yoshi is Yoshi. There's nothing else like
No one
him.
else fights like Yoshi.
No one.
Some other things I wrote down. Rival Pokemon trainer, which has a Cyndaquil, a Croconaut, and a Meganium, which would have like the
Why
next...
would you choose the...
Because I wanted to mix it up.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, but I think like the next round of starters, the rival
I'm
Pokemon.
I'm surprised you knew what they were
Gary?
called.
Some other popular ones, Sora from the Kingdom Hearts series.
Oh, God, no.
I think you could have some interesting gameplay.
Yeah.
Do you think that would
Shooting-
ever happen with like it being a Disney game?
Do you think they could ever bring
That's
like
the
Mickey
danger.
Mouse
Yeah.
into the game or something?
Disney would like
You know?
take control.
I think
Because
Disney
his-
would like to
his
have Mickey
final
Mouse
smash
in
would be
there,
Donald
but I don't
Goofy,
know.
right?
It's a no-brainer almost, you
Some
know?
dumb shit like
I
that.
feel like they'd be
Gorge,
crazy enough to do it at this point.
Goofy is an assist trophy.
Yeah.
Just runs with a shield at people.
It's like this is the best I can do.
As far as other Final Fantasy characters, I want to pitch something like Katshi, otherwise I called Kate Sith from back in the day.
It's she.
I just want a weird character. I don't want another, sword fighter. I want something weird. Katshi or Red 13, maybe. I mean, if we're going sword fighter, I want Auron from FF10.
I think my choice would actually be Yuna from Final Fantasy.
She could summon. She could have interesting
pretty
summon
cool.
attacks. That
You
could
know
be
who
cool.
I think now when I think about it? They should put one like Andy from like Advance Wars or something.
Yeah.
Because we haven't had that game. That would be
No
cool.
representation.
Yeah, Andy.
you know?
Like where maybe he's like riding around in a tank or something.
Yeah,
That's
that
cool.
would be cool. Like
yeah.
a planes is
But he doesn't have the name brand recognition anymore because they chose to abandon that series.
So there was another question I did want to ask, but it's getting to be a little too late. But I will announce this as a new series we're going to be doing where
Oh God.
I'm going to come up with a movie pitch for a Super Smash Brothers connected universe in the style of MCU, like 5 or 6 movies that lead into a Super Smash Brothers movie with our franchises. We'll do at least one because I thought about this for a long time, and like in the third phase we'll have like a Luigi's Mansion, which is going to be a Castlevania Bayonetta crossover.
And everyone says that I'm the weirdo.
Trust me.
But how do you bring the? Then it's got like a Dragon Ball Super element where there's different universes or something.
I'm thinking what it's going to be is we're going to use Mewtwo as the all-knowing being that knows something is going on, and he's going to be trying to like bring the universe together.
Dr. Manhattan.
You're also going to have to get into the fact that some characters can't talk, and I think Mewtwo will like help us understand Donkey Kong, and Mewtwo will also say,
I think Donkey Kong can talk. Have you seen the
He'll
cartoon?
be like Chewbacca.
but an important thing, Mewtwo's like, I don't understand what Kirby's saying.
no one knows.
And Kirby is the Incredible Hulk of the franchise where they don't know. They're like, just go do your thing. And Kirby's like,
Well,
Yeah.
according
Or
to the
Groot.
universe that Sakurai set up, Kirby is the ultimate embodiment of hunger. I mean.
I think Kirby is going to be like a Hulk, Doctor Strange, third phase movie. But when you get to the Kirby movie,
I think he's a
fucked
Captain
up.
Marvel.
Where does
power
Mr.
level-wise?
Game & Watch fit in?
Game & Watch does not get his own movie or his own TV series.
He's
he
like
does,
the
it's a
Agent
comedy.
13.
But you start off with like Super Mario when he has to team up with his old adversary Donkey Kong to fight Bowser in the first one, and you take like in Luigi's Mansion would get its own like kind of horror,
Like a
spin-off.
Netflix series?
Star Fox is like a Guardians of the Galaxy, but they all get drawn into like I think it could work.
I hate this.
You hate it.
I hate it. I think
Why do you
it's
hate
dumb.
it?
I think this is just
because you know they're gonna fuck it up. That's what's gonna happen.
Well, and then it's
Go
almost
into
like
it with low
It's gonna be like the
expectation.
Mario movie that made no fucking sense because the game doesn't make sense.
what we're doing is we're pitching a movie that would work. Favorite Smash game?
go around the table. Alex?
Currently Ultimate. I play it all the time.
I'm going to have to say Ultimate just because I really love Brawl. I played it the most. It's Ultimate, though.
Everyone's it.
I mean, everyone loves it.
Ultimate. It's the best of everything so far. It's the culmination of it all.
It is the ultimate. I agree. If our fans wanted to reach out to you guys, where should they find you?
You can find me on Facebook. My name is actually Justin Brown. You can also reach out to the Super Smash Brotherhood MKE.
And you're pretty open to like new members and people joining up.
Pretty much anybody who asks to join the group. I'm not like I don't vet them or anything.
Right.
You gotta play with 3 different characters.
Are you guys pretty welcoming? Do you try to help teach people? Do you like kind of usher them?
I guess the opportunity for that hasn't really come up yet. There's people that are in the group that are very casual, and there's people in the group that are very competitive.
But you're welcoming.
Absolutely. I guess my goal for the group is to try to be this sort of neutral zone where I'm not doing the same thing that the rest of the competitive scene is doing.
Yeah.
There's enough of that already. Like enough people have already taken control of the 1v1 tournaments. I want people to be able to put it to a vote and what should we do? What do you guys want to see? And should we do an items tournament? Should we do one with this or that? And I think it's more fun that way and it is more open to everyone.
I like that. Fun being the goal.
I think
should
that's
be
the
goal
intent
all
of the
video
game.
games.
It's,
Yes.
I think at its core.
Alex?
You could catch me at probably You Break I Fix. It's a cell phone repair franchise. I own one in Waukesha.
This is the guy. He'll fix your stuff.
I will fix all of your Nintendo products. If they break, come to us. And we'll
I
help
have
you
a
out.
broken Wii U. Could you fix it?
Bring it to me.
Oh, yes.
He's got the hookup now,
There you
baby.
go.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to it, but I think it was something was wrong with the charger, and now
The gamepad itself or the Wii U
I can
console?
get the gamepad to work, but it doesn't. I'll bring it in. We'll take a look.
Yeah, come by.
Fuck yeah. Go visit him over in Waukesha. You Break FX, is that what you said?
You Break I Fix.
You Break I
on
Fix.
right on his hoodie there.
You Break
You know,
iFix.
you'll see the car driving around.
The letter
See
U,
me
Break
roll
iFix.
Very cool. I wish I owned a
smashing.
business.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Dylan.
I will plug our Patreon. It's Hair of the Dogcast. We would love for you to join. Here's the deal. If we get a bunch more people to join, we will have exclusive content, not for that much more than you already would be paying. And we want to entertain you. Please let us.
We'll do weird things.
Oh, we'll do weird things. We have things in
hot
store.
sauces.
We have hot sauces.
Sauce.
If you want to torture me because I'm your least favorite character on the show, I'll say this, Brad. If you want to tase me on this show, for
$5
subscribers,
Patreon.
I will get tased.
We are at Hot Dogcast on Twitter. We are Hair the Dogcast on Facebook and Instagram. Follow, like, subscribe. We are the Raw Dogs. We are a bi-weekly part of Hair the Dogcast, and we are on the Greenlit Podcast Network. Check out all the other awesome shows on here. And Midwest Gaming Classics coming up in April. Get your tickets. We will be there. We'll be happy to talk with you. Thank you so much, Alex and Justin, for coming on the show.
No problem.
You guys were fantastic. Thank you very
pleasure.
much for being here.
Compared to me, Dylan loves you guys.
Well, I mean, finally I have someone new to talk to. Like, you're
Thanks again. This is the Raw Dogs. We will see you guys later.
Bye-bye.